Today, um, every once in a while on the channel, I try to mix up the content, right? Because obviously it's usually pennies. Sometimes it's other denominations of coins, but it's usually pennies. And the only difference is what type of penny wrapper the pennies are in, right? So you got these, you can tell they're all different, right? Not all different, but some of them are different. They're different types, I'm saying. And every couple weeks, I like to do the red penny wrappers because they tend to be older type penny wrappers. The red ones, red, orange, fuchsia, dark red, light red. And an older penny wrapper tends to mean that there'll be some older pennies in the penny wrapper per capita, right? The ratio will be higher. So typical penny rolls in 2025 have about 5 to 10 copper pennies per penny rolls because there's just not that many copper pennies. There's much less copper pennies in circulation today than there were last year, the year before that, and so on, et cetera, et cetera. So older penny rolls tend to mean that the person had also had their pennies previously, especially if they got them from the bank. They stopped putting these out in the bank maybe 5, 10, 15 years ago. You can't find these penny rolls hanging out on the counter of your local bank anymore. So today, during episode 486, I said, I'm going to do this penny roll for the video. And how much copper did we find? 100% copper was in the penny roll. Now, if you're penny roll hunting in 2025, obviously, if you're watching this video in the future, 2026, 2027, 2050, right? If you're watching my videos 20 years from now because they're not making US pennies anymore. Well, first of all, I don't even know if I'm around anymore. Hopefully I am. But you're not even, then it's over. You can never go to the bank and buy. Once they stop making pennies, the bank is not going to give out pennies anymore, right? Once the US Mint stops producing pennies, the banks will not, they will take your pennies, right, for destruction. So they'll take your 100 pennies, they'll put a $1 bill into your bank account, and then they will take all the pennies and send them to whatever facility, and they will be destroyed. And the government will get all the copper, which at that time might be 4 or 5 cents per penny or per pound, $4 or $5 per pound, and they'll make a lot of money. They'll get some of their money back from the loss, right? Because the U.S. Mint loses money for making pennies right now. They cost 5 cents for every 1 cent penny they make, something like that. Same thing with the nickel. It costs them like a dime to make a nickel. So, in today's episode, all copper, 100%, not one zinc penny. And for those of you out there who are going to the banks and getting penny rolls, there's a good chance you have never, ever, ever got what's called a customer wrap penny roll, and definitely not a federal wrap penny roll. That is 100% copper. So when I go to the bank, I ask them for pennies. I try to get as many as I can. Typically, the most I'll ever get is $20. On Wednesday, the lady was nice and she gave me $40 in penny, and there was only one red penny wrapper out of 80 penny rolls. $40 in pennies is 80 penny rolls. One. And I'm okay with that, especially if the results are similar to this. So if you get 15 or 20 copper pennies in your penny roll, you hit pay dirt. That's very high. All right. So I just wanted to do a special video on the topic of the red. This one here is more like a rust color, or very light red, brownish red, whatever it is. But you know what I'm saying. They have them. I don't have one on my desk that is red-er. The only other penny roll I could show you right now that I do have on my desk that most likely no one out there has ever seen before is this penny wrapper. I could feel the weight. Remember, copper weighs more than zinc, and I've never seen these except for the one time I went to the bank, and the lady gave me about $50 in these penny wrappers. Somebody most likely just passed away, and their family brought the person's pennies to the bank, and most of them were all copper, and that's why I saved them. These here usually are not all copper. Usually they're about 40, 50, 60% copper. This is the first time I've ever found all copper penny roll in one of the mighty red penny wrappers. But these here, I've never seen these before. These are probably from the 70s or 80s, these wrappers. If you ever find one of those, I'm interested to know in the comments. And let me know what your experience is in the comments with finding penny wrappers like this. Are you finding more than 10% copper in your penny rolls? Are you finding 20% copper in your mighty penny red penny wrappers? All right. So that's all I got. God bless. Please click like and subscribe. And I'll see you on the next one.